Hi everyone, it's Nate and welcome back to Elevate with Nate, the place where we're all about learning, self-improvement and motivation. And I discuss something new that I've learned in the last 24 hours and I encourage you to comment in the comment section what you've learned and how you've improved in the last 24 hours. So in today's episode, I'll be discussing with you why the tech company NVIDIA is doing so well recently with their stocks. Okay. So if I right now to show you what the stocks are looking like, and as you can see here, in the last year, well, less than that, from the start of this year, the stocks were at a value of, let's say, roughly 50. And right now, June 13th, as I record this video, it's at 128. So roughly 2.5 times the value only 6 months ago. So that's very, very, very good. For a stock, unless you're talking about crypto, which might have higher ups and downs than that. For a standard stock, that's fantastic. And if I also show you the 5-year graphs here, you can see that from back in 2020, when you are at roughly $6, we're talking a 20x right here, if not more. So it's clearly done very, very well. So it only makes sense to start off with, who are NVIDIA and what do they do? And let's start at the very beginning. So NVIDIA started out focusing mostly on the gaming industry because their main product is creating GPUs, which stands for Graphic Processing Units. So let's start talking about what exactly is a GPU. A GPU is a specialized electronic circuit which was designed to accelerate the creation and rendering of images, videos, and animations. Now, you may have heard before about the CPU, which is the central processing unit. And that is normally thought of as the brain of, obviously, the system, which would do all the general tasks, such as arithmetic, logic, and those things. That's the main bit of your system, CPU. Whereas the GPU can be seen as the artist, which has tasks involving manipulating and displaying graphics. So why are GPUs so useful? How can they render these images, videos, and animations? And the main thing they can do is parallel processing. So inside a GPU, they will have many smaller cores. And these thousands of smaller efficient cores can handle multiple tasks simultaneously. Whereas the CPU has much fewer cores and it's optimized for sequential serial processing. So what this means for the GPU is that it can process a large amount of data in a given time frame, achieved by executing many operations in parallel. So going back to NVIDIA and them starting out with these GPUs for gaming, why are GPUs useful for gaming? And the first reason is that for gaming, you want high quality graphics rendering, because in a lot of these games, they want to be able to create lots of complex images or animations in real time. And GPUs can process and render millions of polygons per second. But polygons means a shape, okay? Which makes it ideal for creating these environments for the games. And also GPUs use something called shaders, which are able to control the appearance of pixels, including effects such as shadows, textures, reflections, which is all very important to have high quality graphics. A second very essential thing for gaming is high frame rates and high resolution. And in case you're not aware, frame rates means number of frames per second, so essentially how often a new image is shown. So for a smoother experience, you want to have a very high frame rate. And GPUs are able to process with the parallel architecture many of these images very quickly, hence creating a much smoother experience. And very similar for resolution, especially when you're looking at 4K or 8K videos with those being pixels, you need a lot of processing power to handle that, and GPUs is the right thing for the job. And then finally, virtual reality. So think about the headsets which you can now use for gaming. And that again will especially require the high frame rates and low latency, where latency essentially means how long it takes a request to go from the client to the server and back to the client. So of course, you want to have a very low latency, very quick, and a high frame rate. Because in case you haven't yourself ever tried a VR headset, what happens is if you haven't got both of those things, you can actually get pretty sick and feel ill. Okay, so you want to have those two things. Plus, it'll be a pretty bad experience if when you turn around and nothing's loading quickly. So that's, and of course, GPUs helps do that. And actually, one more thing with the VR headsets. The VR headset has to actually create two separate images, similar but for each eye when you're looking into it. And the GPU is able to maintain that synchronization, which is required. As you can hopefully see, this shows that NVIDIA were already years ago a big company because the gaming industry is large. However, for, let's say, worldwide dominance, gaming isn't the biggest of all the industries. So what's happened since? How come right now NVIDIA is saying it's massive now? What's happened since then? So what's happened is people have found new uses for these GPUs. And one of the main ones currently is AI and machine learning. Because to train AI models, it involves processing very large amounts of data and with numerous iterations, many times over. And because of the parallel kind of structure of the GPUs, it can do this much quicker. So that there is going to be one of the biggest ones here as to why GPUs are now so much in high demand. But there are other ones, such as just general scientific computing. This could be models for the climate or just in physics. Also, with companies in finance with very large data sets, they will also require these GPUs to make these models and train them. A different example would be cryptocurrency mining. Now, I will make a separate video on this soon, but essentially, to mine crypto, you have to be solving very complex math problems. And GPUs, again, that can do many things at the same time, is ideal for this. And then finally, anything with 3D modeling, animations, video editing, this is another big use for GPUs. So this is why NVIDIA has shot up so much in the last few years. Don't get me wrong, as I discussed earlier, gaming is a very big business, but it's not close to the new uses for AI, which is now the biggest thing pretty much out there. Hence why its stocks are going up rapidly. And if you go on NVIDIA's websites, you can see that they now focus on a lot of different types of areas. So they have the normal AI machine learning. They also focus on self-driving cars, GPUs for that. They have healthcare, so imaging and smart sensors. They focus on edge computing. I mean, this again, by the way, will be a video I make soon, but essentially that can be used for in robotics and for, let's say, drones. And also on the metaverse is another thing which now NVIDIA look into with their Omniverse. And I can show you right here the website. It's just so you can see that on the products, as they just mentioned, they've got a lot of stuff on here. Cybersecurity, data analytics, Gen AI, all across here, cloud services, infrastructure, gaming, if you go on solutions, even more stuff here, self-driving vehicles. There's so much to now work on, okay? So they're now a pretty massive company. And of course, as any big company, they've been growing even more with acquisitions of other companies. They acquired Mellanox back in 2019 for a $6.9 billion deal there. So that's why they're growing more and more every single year. So just for now, I think that's all I'm going to mention in this video in terms of NVIDIA, why the stocks are doing so well, and GPUs. Now, in terms of yourself investing in this, I guess it's up to you. Of course, it has gone up a lot recently compared to actually sort of the start a few years ago, if not even 6 months ago. But I guess you could say if you believe that AI is going to keep on being massive which it clearly, I think, is, and GPUs are going to be needed even more as this keeps on going. You need quicker systems, so that might be a smart option to invest now in NVIDIA. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a like, and if you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. As ever, leave in the comments what you've learned today. It's Nate, it's been great, onwards and upwards.